Good afternoon everybody, and welcome to this look back into the mists of time to 1987, I think. Today we are looking at Games Workshop's White Dwarf, issue number 93. Okay, so this is the issue that I've been trying to get my hands on for quite a long time. This is the one where Rogue Trader, or Warhammer 40,000, gets its original release. And obviously on the front cover here we have the Crimson Fists on their last stand, the artwork from the Warhammer 40,000 with the original and best logo here, I add, and was known as Rogue Trader. Also of note, £1.25. Absolute bargain. So let's open this up and have a little look. Over here we have the original Skaven models, and they say, we win, Nij. I don't know what that means, but these original Skaven are a lot smaller looking, a bit fiddlier. I think they look pretty damn good. The paper feels weird. It feels like a very old magazine, which it obviously is, 1987, but it feels kind of thin. Just two colours on here, but all this is full colour. Bizarre. Really hard to explain. That looks like the Talisman logo. Yep, a Talisman book. Oh, these are expansions of Talisman, I see. So these appear to be new things coming out. Advanced Dungeons and Dragons updates. And over here we have some mail orders. Chase, an addictive new board game combining action and strategy, where dice are the pieces, and the aim is to gradually make your opponents pieces less maneuverable in order to capture them. Chase is a challenging game of changing strategies. Costs only £7.95. That was probably about 90 quid back in 87. Only. Awesome Lies. The what's happening in the design studio by the look of things. Games Workshop are discussing a retail franchise operation to commence in 1988. So is that the first Games Workshop stores? I don't know. There's some orcs here. They look very good. Boar riders. And interestingly, we have the catalogue only a few pages in. And these are the Melnibonian Cavalry, whatever they are. And I've never heard of those in my life. They look a bit high elf. Some more orcs over here. Orcs were a big deal obviously at the time. And then a book review column called Critical Mass. I'm going to skip past that. An almost unintelligible busy comic strip here. I don't know what it's called. It looks like there's some sort of words in the side here. Ghoulish Grin, Neary Winner. I don't know. If anyone knows what that actually means, please tell me in the comments below. Moving on. The Virgin Mega Mouse. So Virgin were doing the rounds at this time. The Ghostbusters role-playing game for a tenner. That sounds quite interesting. Has anyone ever played it? And then Thrud the Barbarian. Everyone knows what Thrud the Barbarian is, apart from those people who don't. And it's an old comic strip. I never realised it was so futuristic looking. We've got spaceships in here. This one here looks very Chris Foss. Looks like a wasp. Looks quite good. Forgotten Realms campaign set. I thought that was a Spectrum game. Getting away from most of it. An advanced Dungeons and Dragons tournament adventure for characters of levels 2 to 4. I don't play Dungeons and Dragons, so I have no idea. But this looks like some sort of Arabic mosque-y thing. But this guy does not. This is some sort of camel. It's actually a pterosaur, sorry, with a wind vane for a hat. Ooh, there's a lot of story here to play your game. He's got something up his nose. He literally looks like he's got a sword up his nose. I'm with stupid. Very interesting. Here's an advert for a goblobber. I've never heard of the goblobber. A horde of howling, ripping green-skinned fiends was bearing down upon the beleaguered dwarf hold. The catapult crew worked their machine frantically, raining rocks down on the advancing hordes, but the advance seemed irresistible. Then true disaster struck. For 100 yards around the catapult, there was not a rock to be seen. All had been prized out of the ground and fired at the approaching goblins. Despite the enthusiastic offers of young Gorm Foambeard, that's an interesting name, to be fired instead of a rock, the situation looked hopeless. Then Godfrey Flatnose had an idea. So, along with an advert for a mini, you got a bit of fluff, which is quite interesting. Notice we've already got a bit of the dwarf humour in there. They've never been without their humour. How much is this? £9.95. I'm going to assume that's all metal. I have no idea what the hell is going on in this picture. It looks like Gandalf. Some version of the Balrog, perhaps? You shall not pass looking like that. A study in green and purple. I'd say it was more like black and white, maybe? This is more advanced Dungeons and Dragons. This game looks brilliant. Top Secret, or SI, the espionage role-playing game. Advert with knives and guns. You'd never be able to get away with that nowadays. However, that watch looks amazing. Some more interesting bits of art. They're very low contrast. I'm not sure if they'll even show up on here. They do look nice. It appears to be a goblin in a bottle, if you can make that out there. Yeah, Blockmania and Megamania. Judge Dredd game things. I think I mean expansions. And here we are onto the nitty gritty, as it were, of the issue. Warhammer 40,000 Rogue Trader. Not sure what these logos down here are. Don't recognise any of those. That's like a winged chalice. Winged fiery chalice. Interesting logos. A very dark screen here. But of note, if you come down through the chapter symbols, Blood Drinkers, Dark Angels, Blood Angels, Ultramarines, Iron Hands I believe, Imperial or Crimson Fists, Flesh Tearers, Flesh Eaters, Silver Skulls, Rainbow Warriors. See, they were in the first edition, White Scars and Space Wolves. Or were they World Eaters? Is that World Eaters or Flesh Eaters? Someone please let me know. And here we go, the start of 40k. This artwork is absolutely incredible. Here's the first picture of the Emperor on the golden throne. Looks like he's living in a wasp's nest. But they do look incredible. If you notice these old text box outs, I think you call them, they are taken straight from Alien or Aliens. I think they used a lot of that in the promotional material. Obviously, there's your first scratch-built Land Raider with only one las cannon per side. But notice the lovely banner. Really thin in the middle, really high here. I think it looks fantastic. A gold Blood Angels captain there. And some squats. Lots of background material here. Hoping to dive into that a bit deeper one day. Orcs making their first appearance. A robot beating the crap out of some orcs. By the look of things. And there's that Obi-Wan Sherlock Clouseau character. More of these octagon box outs. Very of its time, we didn't do that anymore. And then we have an advert for the first Imperial Space Marines box set, the RTB01 set. 30 Marines there. I think it cost $9.99 at the time. What an absolute bargain. Yep, there we go. And the Space Hawk Raiders. You could get, how many is in there? 15 perhaps? 17. They're metal. Interesting. 17 metal orcs for $9.95. And the rulebook itself is $14.95 at release. And here appear to be the first accompanying metal models. These look absolutely fantastic. Communication Officer Orinoco, I think that was the name of a Womble back in the day. But these camouflage marines look awesome, don't they? That yellow and red one, fantastic. And orcs had their first releases. So these appear to be the first marines that came out alongside the game. 3 for £2.50. Not a bad price at all, is it? Okay, so this appears to be the first Golden Demon Awards. And there appears to be no rhyme or reason or structure to anything they're doing. It just looks like they're showing off all the pictures. What is that? Is that an egg that someone's painted? The detail of these dioramas is just incredible. Fantastic. Winner of the Masters category, Fraser Gray with his large elephant, and there they are, the original Golden Demon statues. They do look awesome. Look at the size of this giant's banner. Absolutely huge. And here we see a rip-off of the Coca-Cola logo. Very interesting. A tiny little reptile atop a skull. I think that's very, very good. I love the characterization of these things. There he is. Brian Moore holding aloft the Slayer sword. These black and white photos look like they're from 1945. An inventive adventure for Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay. Looks like you're taking vehicles out, such as a fish-styled submarine or a flying contraption there. Comes with a map and orc in a snorkel and a dead chicken. Fantastic. Whatever is this? Thank you, Mr. President. If anyone wasn't aware, that appears to be Ronald Reagan on the day he met the White Dwarf. Mr. Reagan's effort in fixing the price of the dollar. There's some political shenanigans going on here. I have no idea what they're referring to. Apparently it was good. More adventures for fantasy roleplay, so they really were on their roleplay expansions at the time. Very creepy looking. That doesn't look anything like Lord of the Rings, does it? There he is. He's not happy. Ironclaw Gothic Dwarfs as opposed to dwarfs. Space Pirates. Is Ironclaw a type of miniatures? Ironclaw miniatures are here. First released from the talented hands of Bob Ollie. So yeah, these appear to be non-Citadel miniatures Ironclaw. Interesting. A map here for more of it. He's stabbing himself. He's not happy with his life. This character looks familiar. Where have I seen a guy with a knife on the back of his hand in this sort of pose? Please help me in the comments here. That looks really familiar, but I don't know where I've seen it. Bounden to the Sea of Rome. Is that a terrible typo? And here we have some squats. So it looks like in the background they're working on their armies. This, having absorbed the content of our first two articles, slapping on the paint. So this is going to tell us how to paint. Okay, so it looks like we missed the first two, which is a shame. That would have been quite nice to get into. It even tells us how to do the base. Paint the base colour, then flock the base. Paint the flock and blend flock around figure. That makes no sense to me whatsoever. But there you go. Games Day 87. With your voting sections here. Best fanzine. Were there any fanzines around at the time? I don't know. The 555 competition number of the winners. 555 competition winners, but we've only 55 copies to be won. 500 runners up. Now the prizes are as follows. 5 mega winners will each receive the Warhammer 40,000 rulebook, a box of Imperial Space Marines, a box of Orc Raiders worth a total of nearly £35. That is quite cool. Did anyone out there win this? Please let us know. I might cut this out and send it in. Maybe I can win it. What is the Priesthood of Earth called? Answers in the comments below, everyone. See if you can win the competition. What is the name of the heaviest armour type in Warhammer 40,000? Nowadays that's going to be a damn hard question. And which race are the main allies of the Orcs? I'm going to go with Squeaks. What do you guys reckon? Fireland or Airland? We have a sort of Germanic Gothic castle, Nazi symbols, World War II fighters fighting against dragon riding people. Very interesting. All the Lonely People, campaign characters for Judge Dredd. This artwork down here is amazing. Illuminations, one of my favourite parts. Old artwork, Alan Lee and Fairies collaborator Brian Froud. I think Alan Lee did some of the artwork for the Lord of the Rings movies. Here we are, here's our famous piece of artwork from Sister Sin, the Adepta Sororita, shooting the Rainbow Warrior, Brother Vermilion. It should be Vermilion, some of you. Some familiars. Pets and something more for magicians and spell weavers. Which one would I like? What have we got on options? I'm going to go with the Crow for my familiar, please. Letters page. Support your Imperial Governor. No thanks. Letters edited in a dark cupboard by a non-existent Mike Brunton. Intriguing. More adverts over here. Very hard to read list of things for sale. Warhammer Generals. I'm not sure what this is. The Warhammer Register. Sounds like something you sign up for. Situations vacant. Help class. So we've got a small ads section in here. That is quite interesting. Quality safety weapons for live RPGs. Swords from $8.99. Right. I'm going to buy a sword for £9. Metalware. I think they're still doing this sort of thing nowadays. I've seen a few Space Marine chapter symbols made into necklaces. A lot more adverts for game shops. Quite like the look of Axel's Army's logo there. Blood Bowl expansion set. Death Zone. Morgoth Unthrog says buy it. Want to argue? No thanks. And today's back cover is the Judge Dredd companion. The young lady with a very nice hairstyle. Anyway, thank you very much for watching, and always remember to drill your barrels.